But I mean, if I did start recording, I would probably tell you guys.
Yeah, that's a lie. That's 100% a lie. It's a lie every
What
time you.
We have
it's not a
literal
lie.
history indicating that's not true.
Yeah, documented on fucking YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, really. Hey James, what are you drinking? Hey, welcome to Marvel Crisis Beer Protocol.
God, how do you always
Marvel
screw this up?
Crisis Beer Protocol.
BeerThralls presents the Beer Protocol.
I know.
I'm
screwed it
James.
up on purpose.
I am drinking Yingling's chocolate porter with Hershey's chocolate. I haven't tried it yet. It smells like the beer went bad, but I think all Yingling smells like that. So yeah, Jake, what are you drinking?
I'm waiting to see how your face goes
Yeah.
after you drink that nightmare.
No, it's actually pretty good. I've had it before.
It's actually pretty
Nice.
good.
He's not getting out of this. It's a nightmare.
No, it's
No, it's actually a good beer.
yeah,
It
it's
stalks our dreams.
strangely it's strangely smooth. But it has that like not like the solid chocolate, but like the chocolate you pour on top of ice cream.
Like
It has
syrup.
It has that syrup taste to it.
Hi, I'm Jacob. That thumbprint you may have seen recently was me going, "Is my camera on?" Forgetting that yes, my camera is indeed on.
Your camera's on.
It's
I can
how
see you.
me. I have I created a Moscow Mule
Nice.
which I will now drink out of a copper mug, and I'm going to enjoy this conversation. But I'm going to be thinking about Metroid Dread in the back of my head.
Well, and I'm Matt, and I hate Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I drink a Moscow Mule too.
Well, gentlemen, cheers.
Cheers.
Blake.
We're gonna talk about how your games went. So, how'd your games go?
I learned an important thing this week.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man's a cheaty motherfucker.
Amazing Spider-Man is good, and his theme song is covered by Michael Bublé.
It is, and it's actually really fucking good.
No.
Yeah.
We demanded that Google play the Spider-Man theme to celebrate my triumph, and it played the Michael Bublé cover, in which case we're just like, what?
Yeah. After he one-shotted my shit, after I threw 10 dice at it, re-rolled everything, and defended all of it.
So what were you guys
brings us to a theme. So in this pseudo battle report, I was playing Web Warriors, and Matt was playing whatever he thought could beat Web Warriors, and so far he's 0-2.
That's a lie. I was putting together models that I owned, thinking I was going to have a even enough game and still lose. No, I got my ass reamed.
Who'd you play against his Spire friends first?
First was Cabal.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Red Skull. I had a Sin. I had a Viper. I had a Baron Zemos. Did I have anything else?
Sin, Viper, Red Skull, Zemo.
Not Zemos.
I don't
and
care.
You had one more.
I'm angry now.
He probably had Venom or...
No.
Neither. No Crossbones, no Venom. What did you...
Oh, that's right, because I talked to you afterwards, and you said, like, yeah, you didn't bring Crossbones. And I was like, how did you bring Sin without Crossbones?
Because I'm an idiot. That's how.
Yeah.
It was another 3-point model, which, okay. Point being, we were playing a 17-threat game. Scenarios were the Origin Bombs and the Skrull Hostage.
Mm-hmm.
Which led to slightly a weird snafu, not intentional, but may happen more often with the new...
Sabretooth. That's who I brought.
Sabretooth. There's the boy. That's right, because I didn't want him to wreck the spider teens.
Yeah, the spider children need to die too.
So, when you combine sort of the randomization of crises now, you get sometimes weird scenarios where you have crises which stack on top of each other, like Origin Bombs and Skrull Hostages are the exact same placement.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of concentration in a small area of the board.
Mm-hmm.
So that game was actually had a decent amount of back and forth. Dice rolls were a big part of it. My Crisis Protocol...
No. Moon Knight is bullshit too, especially when it's fucking turn 1 and you roll, hey, I get a free movement, and it has to be a movement. And I position my characters correctly and go, hey, there's no way he can attack me. If I do this, I'm going to take the point. It's going to be great.
You know,
all of a sudden, Moon Knight goes, fuck you. and it comes up and literally one-shots my Viper off the board.
We have not had the
Dazed.
anger portion. We have not had the anger portion of this podcast in a very long time. I'm so glad it's back.
We found it. We found the anger.
Oh, you
My
brought
Web
me
Warrior
down.
list, I brought at 17th threat. I wanted to kind of experiment, so I proxied Moon Knight. Amazing Spider-Man as the leader. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Ghost Spider, and then Black Cat. So yeah, Dice makes things hard to predict because Moon Knight was an MVP of this game. Moon Knight also had a few critical multiple personality roles.
Yeah,
where he
exactly
got an
what
extra.
you needed, exactly when you needed it.
But Moon Knight. So I think one of the things that we're going to be talking about a little bit this episode is dice mitigation tactics.
Yep.
And how do you mitigate luck in this game? Moon Knight has an interesting one that we'll see across a few models where his basic builder attack has you may re-roll all of the attack dice of this attack just built into it. It's not bad. That's a common mitigation or sort of luck modification technique, like Doctor Strange can get a free reroll of all of his dice once per attack or defense roll, minus skulls. And so you'll also see additional rerolls, but you also see other game effects which help mitigate randomness by just adding more dice.
Yep.
The more dice you have, the more likely you are to get some successes. Basic math. Until you add a bunch of dice and roll nothing.
Yeah, I understand what that means very wholeheartedly.
Now, there is a couple ways.
Ebony Maw.
There is a couple ways of doing this. If you look on this list to the left here, you guys did talk about so when you called me up, you were just like dice suck. Now, I do have to admit
we did call after that game.
It was
other things.
I was about to fall asleep, and I was getting ready for bed, and everything's nice, and all of a sudden I see a text that's just like, "I fucking hate this game," and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta talk to Matt and find out what happened." But there's ways to mitigate dice. And
there is no way for me to mitigate a fucking Viper getting wiped off the board in one shot.
I would recommend buying a pack.
Defensively.
Buy a newer pack of dice. And I found the dice that came in the box set are not balanced.
Oh, you can't tell. You can't tell people this without linking to some evidence, man.
Okay. I have.
You can't just say that.
You can't tell me that unless mine are perfectly balanced to only roll defense dice when I go and attack, and only roll attack dice when I go and defend.
Yeah.
But Jake's dice that he got out of his starter pack go, fuck you. I don't care what I'm rolling. I'm always going to roll perfectly. I call your quote bullshit.
I have my box set. I have been moved to the side, and I bought another set of dice because they just fail me every single time.
This sounds like someone who thinks dice jail is a real and effective thing.
Dice jail is a real and effective thing.
And I'm telling you right now, I'm eventually going to put all my dice in front of each other and put one on a sacrificial block.
Yep.
And I'm going to smash it. So they all know what's going to happen if they fuck up again.
100% science. So
anyway, my dice rolled great. Matt's did not, and that dictated a lot of what happened in our games. Now, dice are not the end-all, be-all of a tactical beer and pretzels game. So what happened during the game? We learned to play mistakes. I was trying out Black Cat, Amazing Spider-Man, Moon Knight for the very first time. So there were plenty of mistakes back and forth, but I was learning that these models are definitely recent releases. They are extremely well tuned.
Mm-hmm. Black Cat's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, and being able to just fucking throw slow and everything and all my long moving bottles.
What? That's terrible. What? What?
It's fucking horse shit.
So, how does I could easily spin this into a let me just simp for Web Warriors for a little bit.
Dude, Web Warriors are going to be the new. It's going to be the new faction. It's right now
a new faction. They've been around for a while.
No, but so far there's been a couple other factions that have been kind of running the board. Black Order being one of them. You're going to have Web Warriors be one of the top tier factions. They're getting extremely powerful. Now this could all change when they do the re-ups, and the new Goblin is a pretty good change.
I enjoy that you think a single model will take down a faction, but I digress.
Okay.
So
if
kind
it's
of my
the lead-
confusion.
I counter
If it's
that.
the
It's almost
leader-
like you got a one single model that just made the entire Web Warriors amazing.
Who wasn't even a web warrior?
I know. It's funny too because I'm not aware of any new releases for Web Warriors. So there is no they're going to become. It's like they already are, or people are discovering their synergies and working with them more effectively.
I mean, Peter Parker, he's kind of newish.
Amazing Spider-Man, because
Yeah.
Peter Parker has been around for a little bit.
No, like the Amazing Spider-Man, not the original Spider-Man.
Poor original Spider-Man from the core box.
Hopefully he's gonna get fixed.
I honestly would almost rather they just make him a pure control piece and drop him a threat.
Oh, by the way, with the new changes coming out, I'm praying they do not update Iron Man because I do not want to have to go back and change where we just constantly smash on Iron Man. So, a couple ways you can actually mitigate some of your dice is
You
some
say
cards.
throwing, that's bullshit.
Throwing's actually it's a
No,
solid hit.
I learned very, very well that throwing does not change anything.
Okay, so throwing against high physical defense characters is it's iffy. Also, throwing against characters that have brace for impact is also like the brace for impact card, which just negates the entire damage. Is kind of
if
also
your
iffy.
opponent brought brace for impact, you just have to throw more.
Throw more.
They're gonna use it. They'll probably use it the first time you throw something valuable at someone.
So
you just gotta burn it, and move on.
I recommend
There's no playing around it. If throwing terrain or characters is your strategy, you just have to power through it.
I recommend bringing Kingpin in your list and bringing and with an Ebony Maw as a possibility also. So Kingpin he's a 4 threat. He throws terrain and enemies of size 3 and less. So even though he's a short move, he does have that throw, and throwing them into themselves is pretty awesome because you're just doing some plink damage to one person. You're actually doing possibly up to 4 damage.
James, to clarify the intent of your meaning, throwing them into themselves means what?
Sorry, throwing the enemies into themselves. So basically picking up an enemy and throwing an enemy. Yes.
Throwing one of your opponent's characters at another one of your opponent's characters.
Let me drink more.
If Kingpin is against one person who's by themselves, he cannot suplex them over his knee and say you have been thrown into yourself. Take collateral damage.
Technically, he kind of can. He can still pick up somebody and throw it in a direction. Now he won't take any damage, or that size 5 building that you have there, he can literally pick up a person and just go bloop into the building. He'll only take a point of damage, and the building won't care, but you still do a point of damage. Ebony Maw throws up to
size 4.
Size 4 terrain long. So I would take especially if like Ebony Maw is in your 10-man roster and like they put you on a terrain heavy board, Ebony Maw is just going to go crazy, just tossing shit everywhere.
So you say that, but it's really hard to get energy on someone you're trying to hide in the background.
Also, fun fact, do you remember that when throwing something on a terrain heavy board, the first thing your measuring stick overlaps will take the throw?
Correct.
So if you have a lot of size 1 fences and your opponent is hiding behind them, you are not going to throw the size 4 building and hit them. You're going to hit other terrain first. So cluttered tables have to be kind of decluttered a little bit with other game effects.
That was a lesson learned for us.
Yep. Usually there's a size 1 terrain's kind of an oddity on a lot of boards now. It's usually like 2s and ups, with the 5s being very rare. I think on our board we only have like 2 pieces of size 1, and they're like trash cans.
I recommend it. So we actually repurposed some size 1 terrain, some terrain from the new Kill Team box, little barriers and fences that are literally meant to be just kind of table dressing. I recommend cluttering your shit up. Don't go crazy. You don't have to actually make a city street. But just having a variety of terrain across the board made using throws a little more complicated. It gave both players more opportunities to have cover against terrain or throws. Size 1's not big enough to impede movement or give cover, so the big terrain still mattered, but now it wasn't simply point and click throws all day long. Granted, this hurt Matt more than it hurt me, but this was part of the discovery process. So I'd say don't ignore size 1 terrain, especially if it's wide, like fences and other things like that. It actually is a really important barrier for throws.
I think I actually
So-
messed up here. Yeah, is
Well-
Carnage Carnage is a 4, right?
4 threat?
That passes out bleeds.
Wait, hold on. I have the card right next to me.
I believe so.
It is a 4 threat. That doesn't really pass out bleed. Oh, yes, he does. Never mind.
Okay, I put Venom at the bottom. It's supposed to be Carnage. All right.
Oh, James.
Yeah, I fixed it.
We'll edit
Hey, I
that
fixed it on the fly. Yay. So also, I in my list I have here, I have things like now I know it's not out yet, but Baron Mordo is pretty amazing in the Cabal affiliation. He can pass out Hex. He can pass out Incinerate, which will help you on the dice mitigation. He can pass out Poison. He's pretty much a powerhouse of just passing out status conditions. And you do want things like Hex. You do want things like Incinerate to stop exploding dice. You want things that basically lower their defense, taking away dice from them. Helps you add more dice to you in a weird kind of way. Also, I have alts. I have like Blade and Carnage. Bleeds are really good against a lot of lists, especially like Spire foes. Spire friends, Web Warriors.
Web Warriors?
Spire friends.
Remember, the Spider-Man list does not start with a spider.
So Web Warriors.
That should help break that entire chain of thought. Be like, no, web. James, what do spiders make?
Web Warriors.
No,
Doesn't make
pastries.
bleed.
They make silk.
They make me angry.
Don't make me infuriated.
Just fuck this group. So passing out bleeds also is a great way of mitigating dice because they activate, they're going to take a point of damage. Especially with things like gamma shelters where they're forced into...
So, sorry to be a stickler. You're kind of describing not mitigating dice. What you're describing is doing indirect damage.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to do bad
Which to be
bypassing
fair,
dice.
is a different theme.
So I'm trying to bypass
list.
dice.
So,
Well,
okay,
Dude,
I'm
is
gonna.
that really bypassing dice? You're just killing your opponent faster, so you don't have to roll any. That's really not dice mitigation.
Because dice mitigation is things like rerolls or special abilities to change faces or to use other faces. You're describing special abilities to avoid having to make attacks as often or to be doing constant small amounts of damage, in which case, get over yourself and take Bullseye. Because Bullseye is literally doing everything you want at range 4.
I was going to say that.
I literally looked at Bullseye and was like, his plink damage is pretty good for basically just getting around the I don't want to roll dice.
Yeah. So I'm going to say something real quick. Please do not take this the wrong way, but I hate everything about what you're doing.
Okay. And game off.
I don't know.
Go fuck yourself.
Podcast done. Jake, you're not a beer thrall anymore.
So,
oh no! I just like fade out in the video. So, and I don't really hate it. I'm doing this for dramatic effect, of course. But for
He's lying, people.
For my play styles, like, I don't want to roll dice. If you don't want to roll dice in a beer and pretzels game, what are you left with? Trying to find ways to get absolute certainty on abilities, and that just takes me right back to the bad old days of War Machine and Hordes. Of how do you manipulate the thing so it's a guaranteed chance without letting dice do anything?
So
of knowing that 2d6 make a 7, 3d6 make a 10, and therefore I don't have to think. And if the dice screw me on this, fuck this game even harder because math was right, and it's the dice's fault that math didn't happen.
The way
and that kind of sucks away at my soul.
It does because you're playing it as a beer and pretzels game, and I'm playing it as a tournament game.
See,
I'm trying to optimize it to be a tournament game where you're
which
like
just sounds depressing and grindy.
I mean, I'm just trying not to lose by 14 points regularly.
And the thing is,
by round 3,
even with the beer and pretzels game, doing some of these things and exploring things that you don't normally do, like having Killmonger and Baron Zemo escort each other down the field and just getting extra rerolls because Zemo's just there. Passing out status effects.
Or
Um,
you could take Killmonger in his own affiliation, where Shuri is, and not have to have him have a buddy escort, and then Shuri's also doing things.
but I made this because he wants to play Cabal.
I'm aware that he's also in Cabal.
No, I actually liked Black Order when I played him on our second game, even though that was just as disastrous. But I could blame some of that on myself. So
More disastrous, really.
Also,
I mean, yes, but at
knowing
least
knowing when to play the scenario as opposed to just killing everything. Like Black Warrior just wants to kill everything, and
Yeah.
Red Warriors just needs to just grab the objectives and run the fuck away, which they're really
Basically.
freaking good at.
yeah, I know.
So
So-
using his teleports and using the the married couple, picking a fight on somebody, that's also a thing to do.
Yeah, like I said, lessons were learned on list creation on that one, but getting one fucking shot again because dice suck was disheartening.
Getting one shot against Poison Viper.
Oh no! This happened in both my games.
Amazing Spider-Man one-shot Ebony Maw
What?
from full
Yeah.
health.
Yeah,
Did 7 damage in one builder attack.
yeah, it was awesome.
All right, how the fuck you pull that off?
It's really
Crit.
simple.
All the crits.
It is quite. It's elementary, my dear Watson. You see, Ebony Maw had no power,
Oh.
But even still,
so Spider-Man got to
still-
do whatever he wanted.
stats should have said, "There's no way you're gonna do 6 fucking damage in one fucking thing off fucking 5 dice."
That is a pretty big swing, yes.
And then web swing happened, and I had 7 dice, and then I got like 3 crits,
Yeah, that would
4.
hurt.
You had 4 crits.
and then you rolled like 1 block.
It's burned into his psyche. Like he, in the middle of the night, he just wakes up and goes 4 fucking crits.
But don't worry, he rolled really poorly against Thanos, who just doesn't give a shit.
This is true. So it's hard to say with any certainty that if I use my builder, guaranteed outcome's going to happen. It's not. It's not guaranteed. The only guaranteed thing with any ability or attack in this game is whatever is listed on the bullet points that doesn't require a specific dice combination. So that kind of brings me to a general thing I would want to say. Someone gave me this advice during an MCP tournament game, and I pass it on to everyone who's frustrated by dice. Because of
Go play
this
a board
is
game, noob.
tactical,
Oh. That was...
this is basically a board game. In this tactical, very objective-driven game, try not to put yourself in a situation where the dice have to fall a certain way or your whole plan falls apart. Never go into it having to have the result of a roll go a certain way. If you are counting on a wild to get the throw to score the objective point, immediately kind of reevaluate and be like, do I have another way of getting this movement? Do I have an ability I could use? Or do I just park it there? And I won't score the point, but neither will he.
Doing nothing is an option.
Don't overextend yourself. Don't go into every situation where this die roll has to work. Have backup plans. Be okay with your positioning if you get no hits at all. And again, that's not going to work in every case because sometimes dice are really clutch. But it's helped me lighten up a lot. It's helped me, especially since to be fair, I'm playing Web Warriors right now, which is super mobile, and I have these options. But even stuff with like Avengers, don't go super deep. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to have to make a bunch of critical rolls in a row or you feel out of it. Try to be looking for what is same advice I give people trying Spirit Island for the first time. What is good enough? What gets you to the next round without giving away a ton of ground? And then you can start finding more synergies. Then you can get more reps without getting disheartened. And in general, it's going to hurt a lot less when the dice don't go your way.
Yeah, being down 2 points in this game seems like a lot, but you can come back from that. So maybe take a round that you're just doing builders, that you're just kind of getting power, getting into defensive positions, making it hard, giving them when we said in our War Machine podcast way back when, give your opponent bad decisions. So, like, maybe camp up where, like, Venom is just sitting behind a piece of terrain, and, if they attack him, you got enough power at the moment to attack back and possibly do some snacking. Or do they attack this other person that might be outside their range? Does Loki have enough power where he can move away from the attack? I think Ghost Spider does the same thing. She could just yank somebody out of the attack range after power is spent for the attack.
Yeah, is Daredevil have enough power to more or less kill one of your opponent's models when it's at attack?
That seems like bitterness there.
Yeah, it is.
So if Moon Knight was the unexpected MVP of our first game, Daredevil was by far the unexpected MVP of the second game.
You mean how Daredevil did more attacks in my turn than I did?
Okay. Daredevil's an asshole, and yes.
And the only reason I killed Daredevil is because it was the one time I rolled well with the wife in Black Order.
Proxima Midnight.
Yeah, Proxima Midnight, when I rolled my own defenses and he didn't score any hits against me, so he took 2 damage on his attack.
Pro tip.
It was my turn.
Pro tip for anyone running Proxima Midnight. Be careful with that spear toss. It's a cool range attack that is a mandatory teleport within 1 when it's done.
Yep.
Which is convenient for timing triggers for every counterattack in the game.
Yeah, learned that lesson.
As Proxima's like, gotcha, stupid red man. Stupid red man's like, cool, you did enough damage so I can use my counter. Also, my counter's my builder. I'm plus damage. I'm plus on power.
It's also small things like that. This is why we say play games before you go into tournaments. Don't play your tournament game as like this is I'm trying a new list, because you're gonna find stuff like this where you're just like, ha ha ha, I got the little red devil, and the little red devil bites back.
So I do want to talk about this exchange because it was hilarious. So top of round 3, Daredevil has a hammer and 1 health left. Proxima has just flipped over. Full health, bunch of power. It is her activation.
Oh, and Black Cat is also close enough and also has a hammer that all I had to do is 1 fucking point of damage. Kill it to pick up the hammer to then teleport to Black Cat, who's on like 1 health point of damage.
Black Cat had full health. Don't kid yourself.
Full health.
That was never going to happen.
Oh, but at least
reasonable.
I could have like put pressure over there to score some points.
So anyway, Proxima's first attack fails to do any damage whatsoever against Daredevil, who then counterattacks and spikes my damage roll and puts Proxima at 1 health. Proxima's first action is now done, and we're both staring at each other.
And I didn't fuck this up. I had the power, and I did my whole. I'm gonna roll 5 dice. I did your dice manipulation shit.
Maybe you just suck.
Proxima's second action attacks Daredevil because your sunk cost fallacy at this point does no damage for the second time.
Yeah, get new dice.
Daredevil counterattacks, and then finally I whiff my dice and deal no damage to take the automatic 2 back. So by the end of this exchange, Proxima has picked up the hammer, which is what he wanted from the beginning. He just suffered a lot more emotionally to get there.
I'm buying you new dice.
To the point where I had to walk away from the game, step outside to have a cigarette and a drink, because I was going to table flip.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting across there just humming the Spider-Man theme to myself, cackling at this. Because, sure, I lost a hammer, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's Black Cat's activation next. She'll get that hammer back.
Like, it's like our game that we had.
Carnage could always roll a crit whenever James needs it to. Yeah,
pretty much. But also, you had Ultron, and Ultron stayed in the back the entire time.
Okay, I account pretty much all of that minus Carnage to my first game.
But
error.
it's things like that.
I don't call that dice.
It's things like that, like knowing, hey, if this character, like, it's an open information game. You can always ask to see the other person's card. So, like, I'm thinking about attacking Daredevil. Ask for Daredevil's card, look at it, and go, how is he going to fuck me? That's a bad idea. Pass it back.
I learned that when I first attacked him over here, but I only had to do 1 fucking point of damage. I had the extra dice. I had all of the things. I did the dice mitigation correctly.
I'm buying you new dice.
So
I did it right.
To bring it back to this episode's theme, so to speak, do we think that this is something that gets easier over time in more games? Dealing with dice dissatisfaction, dice disappointment, random cats in my streamed video podcast.
James, no one wants to see you do that. This is called YouTube, not OnlyFans.
She decided Cinder decided that she wanted to be pet and has decided to jump up into my. Oh, also we bought her a catnip ball, which is just solid catnip. So we've been drugging her all day.
I mean, fair.
Oh, it was
hysterical.
Like, it was a burst of energy for like 5 seconds, and then she fell asleep, and then woke up and realized I can do it again.
So, but back to my question.
Sorry,
you incredible nerd. Is this something that bothers you less over time? Do you think? So far, Matt, you are in the peak of rage.
Yes, I agree.
However, I feel like you need a game where you stomp all over my webheads.
No, I just want to
feel better.
I just want a game where I lose by a couple points, not 14.
So actually,
at round 3,
Jake, strangely enough, you said something that I like. Does this get? No, it doesn't get easier over time. Like, having your dice just betray you over and over again during game just never gets easy. You're going to have that rage. You're going to have I fucking hate these dice. Go buy new ones if it makes you feel better. I'm buying you new dice. Apparently your dice are cursed, or you're cursed, and we're going to figure this out.
But you're my friends. That's proof right there.
So, but so no, in a dice game, having your dice betray you is never going to get easy. But also and the thing is that you're going to build yourself up. Like he said, you were on 1 health. He had like 5 dice, did no damage. And statistically, you should be like, I should have done at least 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But statistics is not like a point; it's a giant curve.
I know. I do math for a living.
He also had that emotional pain of having Pierce go off, and then Daredevil's just like, cool, blanks count as defense.
Oh, no. You are completely and totally valid to have that anger when that fucking shit happens. Yeah, I've had that happen where it's just like, ha ha ha, Pierce. And he's just like, yeah. Well, thanks. It's still the same amount.
Yeah. Or my other favorite is Spider-Man just going, hey, I flubbed my defense roll. Let me just roll the whole fucker again. Oh, wait. I had 3 of them work. I rolled 5 dice. Let me just roll these 2.
That is
bullshit.
Let me re-roll your wild you needed.
Yeah, re-roll. Like, having them re-roll your dice and re-roll their dice is just bullshit.
But we are going to talk about Amazing Spider-Man. That might be one of the strongest 5 threat models in the game.
And the Spider Child over there is just like, oh no, I'm going to re-roll more of my dice. And this one goes, hey, I'm going to pull you out, and I'm still going to let you re-roll your fucking dice.
Yeah.
It's just shit. I hate this game.
I like the Spider team.
You hate this game now. You're going to collect some more shit, and you're going to put it back on the table.
I don't think so.
I'll play you on Thursday.
He has not been sparing any new models. I don't think the new models are going to help him.
Let's see. If he's thinking about still sticking with Cabal, anything that passes out.
No, I'm going to stick with. I'm sticking with Black Order. I'm going to fucking lure Black Order because. Fuck it, at least it's less models to disappoint me.
Sure, I will bring Spider Foes, and we can do Black Order versus Spider Foes, and you can just beat them into the ground as they try to run up and attack you.
Fair.
As Goblin's just like, ha 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 ha, I'm really my face.
Spider-Man.
Hey, no demonetization. All right. Thank you for watching us babble for a half an hour. Hopefully you actually learned a little bit of stuff. We're going to get Matt better.
Not even better dice anymore. We're gonna get better.
We're now holding a charity for therapy for Matt.
Speaking of, good segue. We have a charity coming up. We are doing Food Machine, December 11th at Huzzah Hobbies. We'll be having a 4-table MCP tournament. Everyone's going to get something. We're actually working on some stuff right now. We're going to have a charity raffle. We have actually right now on the table a full squad of Krieg.
Yes,
Deathcore of Krieg, 4-year-old models. We've got some other stuff for Kill Team going on. We're going to have a very epic one-shot D&D adventure. That's going to have models and terrain and like mist and lights and sound. It's going to be just like 2 hours of just epicness.
Good. Make my Kill Team tournament sound like crap now. Thanks, James.
And then we're having like Kill Team.
We're gonna add mist the Kill Team tournament. It's just gonna be a fog machine.
I got one.
Actually, the whole store is a fog machine.
It might set off the smoke alarms. We're not going to do that. Also, we're going to Adepticon.
That seems like a mistake.
Yeah. We're gonna go play. We're gonna go play some MCP at Adepticon. But really, we're going to go play Ethereum.
I'm gonna take the spider teens on the road. Show them new things.
This is an airplane. This is an overhead compartment. Oh, you're all broken. All right. That's it. Anyone else have anything?
No. Game off. Bye.
Game off.